So, folks, how y'all doing today? Now, I'm still a bit drugged behind the cart, but it is what it is, you know. As it is. We're not doing this to impress anybody with our charming, handsome oral powers or convince you of anything. It's more for our health than anything. Since the amount of evil that's presented to us every day is just fucking astounding. Okay, way back when, about a month after Charlottesville, maybe 2 months, I'd said now, when the cops when they rioted again, Antifa, in New York, right, the first time, and in Portland, that they're meant to come back after they'd probed these places out in strength, and they were coming gunning for cops' heads, you know. No. And by this I don't mean using rifles literally, I mean using any object they can club a man's head in with. See the cops stabbed, beaten, other people mowed into the sidewalk. Those look like I was right, huh, assholes? That's because this isn't a criminal fucking matter. It's a cadre matter, you dumb asshole. It's a political, ideological matter. And the only way to win is to crush the cadre class and drive them out. You have to destroy the cadres and destroy their ability to spread their literature and their information and their ideals. Why? Because if you don't, you'll have communist subversion up to here, you dumb fucker. And you'll be burnt out in your cities like you're being right now. No, you want to play your little liberal good ideas, drive out bad ideas? No, they don't. Communists come with pistols and shoot people eventually, you fucking punk. Or you shoot them and you win. Those are the only two options with them because they're violent animals who will not accept political compromise. See the Soviet Union, right after the Krzyzewski government there. Really? Immediately in July, Lenin tried to overthrow the Krzyzewski government, who foolishly let him back. I would have said, yeah, man, why don't we meet? We'll have the socialists there and the blacks, to, you know, because they're your enemies, and just, you know, if I make it a little even, some of the cadets maybe, and just shot all of them. Shot every last one of them. Proclaimed the Duke Michael to be the new czar, and that'd have been it. But what do I know? Yeah, you see, I'm not a chump, and I don't sit around and let communists try to bugger me. Again, if you want to deal with faggots from the GOP, go read John Locke. If you want to know how to do this, you deal with anti-communist training. This is how you deal with these bastards. You kill the cadres. Every single military man who's going to see this knows that I'm 100% absolutely fucking correct. This is what we did in Vietnam, in Phoenix, and this worked. It had Charlie goddamn right scared. If you can scare communist cadres who are materialists, you're doing right real good, boy. It means you're winning. But see, we folded when we actually had them rolled up after Tet. Can you believe that? So everything before that, all the running around the jungle, cutting them off, you know what I mean, ascertaining who was part of what networks and all this was for naught. Because we just let them reform up in Cambodia and then let them continue the war. Can you imagine? Can you imagine this? Like, no, we didn't. Yes, we did. That's the actual history of Vietnam War. It's even more disgusting than the bizarre version they tell you where we just couldn't win, you know, which, yes, we could have. We simply refused to cut the trail off strategically, and they just would not recognize in Saigon that, or MACV command, that these villages were the center of the activity for the guerrillas in the south, you know, and that those local forces were the local villagers, while the main force units were people from the south who were professional intelligence cadres and the rest. Even after Tet, they tried to play that farmer at night bull. Oh, shut up. That hadn't been true since the 50s, you idiots. God, and this is the worst part. These reports were available to everyone. And the people that objected to all this, and some intelligence behind them, Moore, Wheeler, and LeMay the most, are the people you're supposed to think lost the war for you. Bugger me sideways. Whereas the asshats that just outright, McNamara, for instance, you know, he's always some hero. It's like, he sent retarded children into combat effectively. How many sergeants and corporals do you think he got killed with that? How many? That's when there were still professional men rotating in and out, not conscripts, you know. Do you reckon you're a professional soldier and fairly hard, and you're just going to let a little 80-year IQ moron die in battle? Because it's not going to happen, and you know it, though. It's going to cause problems, and it's going to be a fuck-up. And yeah, it was. They make fun of it kind of in Forrest Gump, but that shit's not funny. That's low-life shit. It also fucked with morale, unit morale, and fucking overall force morale. You understand? That's true, isn't it, Mo? You look me in my face and tell me it ain't. Okay? I mean, the only people who had any sense of what was going on in Vietnam were the fucking Marines. It's like, they tried to sweep through the villages, and then, no, you got to build this electronic wall that allowed the political officers back in the village, back in their tunnel complexes, back in their safe bases inside South Vietnam, which were the villages and those remote highland areas, and just gave them up. After they fought a humongous series of hill battles to establish themselves strategically there. Just attrition battles. What the fuck? I mean, I'm not a pussy, and we'd have took those hills, troop. Let's get that shit right together, right the fuck out. I didn't went up the hill with you if I had to. We'd have took that hill. Okay, do you understand? But after that, you see, since those are nice high spots, which are always going to be geographically desirable, they're good real estate, so I'm saying, why not put some spotters or some kind of fire base or some logical point they can hit themselves against for a while, and we can use the advantages of terrain to help strategically cut them off from resupply and shit. Maybe give them a little morale blow, Do you understand? Because losing a regiment or a company didn't do it for Charlie. You had to really pound them to put them into sadness. Now, after Tit, we had them rolled up. We'd rolled up on something like 70% of the network of people in the South and wiped out four mainline regiments. Now, I took one entire one out in Way. They fought on the last, to be fair to them. And in Saigon, some of the select sapper troops were spectacular super soldiers. There's nothing to be taken from them. What do you want to see? Like 8 guys fought off 25 guys for fucking 16 hours and blew up a bomb themselves. Yeah, okay, they can be very bright. You know what I'm saying? That's good, yeah. I can admire that. Why be taken alive? No reason to surrender when you can fight. Exactly, you see. So, you see. On the other hand, so you understand, we never lost the Tet Offensive in Saigon. The little embassy battle they're going to show you, it was resolved in our favor within minutes. In every real world it was. We could have just sat still, resupplied, reinforced, and wiped them out. There was no urgency. There were 3 or 4 sappers inside the compound. They had no officers. They died. Those 2 bodies you see right inside the hole, that's the officer and the sergeant, dead. The other people had no operational information on what they were really going to be doing much other than those buildings there were all these embassy personnel who were more like ex-Marines and such. The guy with the M3 grease gun seems rather familiar with its operation. Do you know what I mean? He was a champ. That old man had it done, okay? They hammered him. They beat their ass, okay? And yes, sure, the government, the radio station had to be shut down and whatnot, but they never got out a message. They never got the general uprising. And all across the country, except for Way, they were beat back into the brush relatively easily. There you're looking at 1,500 select troops who dug in and said, we're ordered not to leave at any cost. So they fought it out, It is what it is. And that's why the little Imperial Palace was turned into rubble. We didn't turn that into their command compound. They did. Do you understand? So what can you do? It'd be like as if you were at war with the Chinamen and they turned the Imperial, the Forbidden City, into their military fortress. Well, what are you going to do? Just let them sit in there? Are you stupid? Especially when it's, the old Imperial capital. No, it's a political victory they would have got. Moreover, if I hadn't beat them out of the city, there never would have been the defector slaters that brought us out to the big piles of bodies that, there were 1,500 people or so out there or more. Do you know what I mean? Big, long trenches of people. Lots of them are just suffocated. There's no other obvious injury autopsy ruled, so they would have had to die from suffocation. Do you know what I mean? They probably died underground, buried in the ground. Sounds lovely, doesn't it? Yeah, well, You see, so this is what we're dealing with here, and no, nobody wants to admit that because no, Antifa's not like that. Yes, they are. All communist operations have some street thugs that run around and do these kinds of disorders when the government is not obeyed. Are you fucking stupid? It's just like, hello. It's like, who exactly do you think the SA were beating up? No, moreover, let me put you like this way. When the German police saw the SA roll in and beat up the people, the communists, why do you think that the German police said, and we're more or less happy that these dudes just rolled in and knocked these commies' teeth in? Why do you think that was? Because the communists would interrupt everyone else's meetings, whereas the National Socialists only showed up at the communist meetings. They didn't even bother the socialists. They left the centrist party alone. They didn't care about the other right Volker parties. They just left them alone. You know what I mean? So much as they didn't attack them, obviously, but they didn't. So you see how that is? But communists would send violent thugs to burn places down, cause melee, harm people, shut people down through disturbance and chaos. This is exactly what you see here. Hence, expect the Fuhrer to come back. Or does that upset you? I don't care. Not in the least fucking way. Is what I'm upset about is the pussy ass hats that are in charge of everything here. They want us to play, oh, Saint Nigger Pimp. Fuck off. I'm a thug the same as he was a thug. Did you ever get me to fucking bow down to some cocksucker criminal thug? What the fuck are you, a pussy? Never give in to a wolf or eat all your goddamn sheep. You fuck. You kill a wolf. You confront him and you fight him and you win. That's it. That's what you do. Anything else is bullshit. Fucking slave talk. It's true though. You can get all as upset as you like if I say it's true. Oh, you say, haha, I'll die. I'll go to God with my honor, just to be stuck here as a slave. Who's to be laughing at who? Did you see? These things don't fret me, son. You know? Not ever, you know? So I think today we're going to do a bit of Roman history. Yeah, Rome. You know, nothing's new under the sun. Well, there's a bit of my own prose there, too, you know, for extra fun, special times, you know. If you made it this far, you're either a machine, a security agent, or you're not even. So don't worry, sit down, take notes. So, obviously, there's nothing new under the sun's reference to a biblical verse, but it's also a reference to one of the things which the communists were extremely good at is pointing out these games with usury in antiquity. I don't think they meant for us to get this information quite the way that we did from them, but you always must gain from all things. Turn all things to the good, my son. Oh, I'm not a Marxist in any way. Number one reason, I actually believe in private property as long as it's used not utterly destructively to other people's life. It's pretty key. And then there's the other one where this weird idea that instead of centralized everything, decentralize as much as possible and as little centralization as possible is the most ideal. This is something a communist would never tell you. In fact, I'd be shot in one of the states as a petty bourgeois reactionary or some nonsense. So, yeah. Right. But you just yap on about Marxism because you know nonsense spit. But they accomplished nothing. For Tiberius, striving support to measure which was honorable and just with an eloquence that would have adorned even a meaner cause, meaning he didn't pass his legislation as tribune, just was formidable and invincible. Whenever, with the peoples crowding around the roster, he took a stand there and pleaded for the poor, the wild beasts that roam over Italy. Now pay attention. He would say, have every one of them a cave or lair to lurk in. This isn't Tiberius saying this. This is a man named Plutarch saying this. He's a Roman governor 3 centuries later. He's one of the excellent moralists in histories of antiquity. Maybe you could become cultured today and join this society of Western peoples rather than be a barbarian on our doorstep. Come. No. Ever the one of a cave or lair, these beasts, you know. But the men who fight and die for Italy enjoy the common air and light, indeed, but nothing else. I think it means they get shafted, yes. Houseless and homeless, they wander about with their wives and children. And it's with lying lips that their imperators exhort the soldiers in their battles to defend sepulchres and shrines from the enemy. For not a man of them has an hereditary altar, not one of these many Romans an ancestral tomb, but they fight and die to support others in wealth and luxury. And though they are styled masters of the world, they have not a single clod of earth that is their own. The life of Tiberius Gracchus. Plutarch. Tiberius was a great man before you start with your little insults, petty type, libertarian. If you insulted Tiberius and there were no police, I'd just slit your throat. You don't insult such people in my presence, little vile wretch. Your freedom ends when steel slits your larynx. Shut up. Understand? It's the difference, unlike the communists. I don't have to play good about it. I've said it'll happen, and it'll be obeyed. And that's it. Because why? Your models and ways of doing things produce this nigger fucking sideshow that's burning down our fucking society. My way of doing things produces strong, honorable men who respect themselves and their forefathers, not little cunnies like you and Ayn Rand and all your other little cacophony of Semites and Jews. You understand? So fuck off. Well, so what should you choose, my fellows? People, emptily pursue their isolated and limited lives. And I'm going to need my glasses because my limited life is starting to include dimmed eyes. It's just terrible. Even in my ruin, I shall be better than many of you. Atomized, demoralized, paralyzed. Work too hard for too little, and then spending what hard-earned lucre they have upon base, empty, and let's be honest, emptying things which simply do not satisfy or fill the void. In other words, this whole society is of the nothing. It promises much and delivers very little. Yes, a cheap whore. The emptiness springs from the sensation that each of us has been taught from birth, through conditioning, see box, that they need material things and meaningless pleasures, right? Which in fact bring them only desire to have more. Thus, the more they have, the more they need, the more they want, in a never-ending cycle. It's rather absurd, actually. This need has been conditioned to such an extent that people will trade all the things worth having in the present and future for needless junk goods and fad buys right now, rather like little rats hooked on various concoctions, you know. They have been conditioned since birth to mindlessly spend until it's blood and tears, frankly, that they're paying with for their baubles and trinkets. It's actually rather not sensible. They've hollowed out the substance to have the appearance. Potemkin Village writ large. Potemkin Village. Thus, slowly but surely, most people in this consumer society as a whole are being emptied of all the things worth possessing in exchange for useless junk which will never satisfy the people at their most basic level. Particularly these single chicks and your cats. How's that working out in your old age, darling? Well, this leads to further attempts to find happiness by ever more absurd waste of effort and time upon ever more outlandish, faddish nonsense that does not leave one feeling sated and full in and of itself. See, dumb broad that goes from cats to bringing home jigaboos and raccoons and winds up dead from them. Shit. Sure, to change this cycle of needful dependence upon junk, we must break this never-ending repetition by frankly telling these masses around us the hard truth about their plight. The fact is that we've been left high and dry by Emperor Xi. Oh, and your elites, both Republican and Democrat, they sold you out since Nixon. Yeah, that's reality. Can you deal with that much truth? Right. So we must just break the dependency upon this false happiness, you know what I mean? And which the material trinkets bring, if fleetingly, by exposing them to other options and other ways it means, i.e., I think putting the hand to them so they behave like human beings rather than like Skinner's rats. Yeah. We must also provide ways to potentially new sources of happiness, sure enough, well-being and contentment, which source of joy would be rather filling than emptying. Think not Selma, but rather more outdoor little chirpy birds and kids. Tennis, sunny day, a beach. You understand, these things are much more happy every time than most of this garbage you can buy. Think about it, you'll see what I say. In fact, it's got to the point where they've even tried to commoditize these things because they've muffed our world so far up. I mean, like Guy Prime. So let's see. Rather than emptying, which will bring an expansion of the people's lives rather than a contraction, and which will fulfill people's lives and build them up rather than spoil and tear them down. I'm thinking less better living through modern chemistry and more of just run in the park. Seems, might be a good way to go, yes. I don't care if people are crazy by modern standards. Most of those people are quite gifted and capable of doing things you peasants can't. So, I'll take all of them. How about that? And I'll defeat you with them. How about that? Because I don't view these things they do as problems or weaknesses. This is the difference. They talk to themselves? Great. You gotta have some company that knows what it's about. You see? Right. You can't shake me with your nonsense, because I don't believe in your materialist pape. You see? So we shall seek out and cultivate happiness inside the man, internal alchemy, rather than from without his person. That is, we shall reject Talmudism and materialism. Because why? Because they're false doctrines that are based in a mammonism that isn't the truth. Christ is not a God of plenty. He's a God of war, a God of severity, a God of sacrifice. Deal with that. Okay? I'll take your prosperity gospel, that can go to hell, because that is heretic and apostate teaching, and you will see hell for that. So repent and find true God. That's my exact one Christian obligation to you and none other. If I choose the others, it's only because I take them. Now, this new happiness will be internal ideals, not external items. Thus the people will be brought from living in a spiritual vacuum to a fulfilled life in which their internal status will count higher with them than their material goods, which will be seen merely as the ends to life. I mean, you need clothes, you need food, and so forth, but these aren't the reason you're alive. That's silly. It shouldn't be, you know? It seems ridiculous. They're just something you need to stay alive. Does you understand what I'm trying to say? Life should be about more like, again, your internal status, your relationship with God, if you like, your relationship, your fellow man, your relationship to God, country, and your fellow man. Ooh, there we go. Ooh, complex relationships. Now, this is life affirming as opposed to the death affirming nature of the empty nothing world around us. This affirmation of life is possible if we, those who oppose the empty promises of the death cult, work loyally towards control of the basic instruments of power. In other words, if we take control. I don't care about your nonsense. The court, the system. Once you have power, who cares what the court says? You say, take them to jail. Shut them up. So easy that is. I'd love to jail the judge. Absolutely love to be like, oh, you like your little jails, do you, judgy? Well, you can spend several years in one with no daylight. You scum. The communities in our nation have been reduced to the level of flop houses, you see, for the world, because our leaders, see judges and such, local and national, are Judas goats, traitors, who have no loyalty to anything but the money which their hidden masters provide. Why? Because they're empty, amoral scum. Simple, isn't it? Now, as that hurts your feels, then you may be such scum. The community is the family home you see under writ large. This is funny, I actually believe this, but I refuse to share my home with the Negroes. It's sort of like, you Negroes can take your own community somewhere else. Africa. Africa's where you can take that. I don't care, again. Paper is nonsense. Blood and genetics are real. Human races aren't equal, and race is more real than your blather about equality. Is that too much for you to handle? That's why I'm a magician and you're a little low-level pleb. Remember that. This is why my name will be remembered one day. I'd be great, man, and you're a lesser creature. Because you accept these lies meekly. They're stupid and false. If you can breed for a trait, then genetics controls it. If two items don't breed the same, then they don't have the same genetics. What don't have the same genetics are not equal. 1 is not equal to 2, is not equal to 3, is not equal to fucking 5. Stupid. Otherwise, you have a situation where x equals 0 equals 1 equals negative 1 equals 0 divided by 0 equals any other imaginary bullshit you want to make up. Seems like one's based on sound logic and reason, and the other one's based on magical bullshit. Okay? Right. Bro, and joggers ain't jogging around, folks. With boots on at night, with a hammer in their hand. They're burning your shit down. So, folks, how y'all doing today? I'm admiring in awe the advanced Africanus. Long may the millennium bring us culture and uplift us. May the light of the burning and looting bring us into progress. Fuck you, nigger. Let me break this to you. If you're a soft-ass GOP bitch and you can't handle the word nigger, you're going to want to leave your fucking nigger-loving Martin Luther King enabling bullshit, pussy, pommy light ass, the fuck somewhere else. Get the fuck off my parade ground. You're fucking pathetic. And you Democrat cunts, I'll stick you motherfuckers in the darkest hole of Calcutta with the most fucked up sodomite niggers I can find. You'll find they say nigger every motherfucking day. In fact, they have little sentences that are nigger, nig, nigga, nog, nigga, nigga, nog, nigga, nog. Do you know why? I spent 2 years around their low, Africanus ape-man ass. And I ain't gonna pretend that they're even remotely roof Koreans are a higher form of life than niggers. Beaner fucking brown 3-foot fucking Mexican fucking cockroach people are a higher form of life than niggers. How'd you let me know? Hell, even the Portuguese seem to have beat their niggers into a better form of life than this. You understand me? So why the fuck do we pay for this failed form of orcish fucking goddamn Urukai? Why are we paying? What is it? About, let's see. Let's be fair, $85 billion a year for the last 30 years to them, which is, we're just going to call it about a quarter of $1 trillion for this. Straight. No, that's just welfare. That's just welfare. And a even fair percentage between white and blacks. You know, those are the two main recipients. Let's make it easy. No fucking way. Why? You don't see rural whites running around and burning shit down and going, woo, 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 chopping off fucking heads like savage goddamn Comanches, do you? Not very motherfucking often. Last time that happened was a guy named Chantrell. In fact, the Confederacy condemned the son of a bitch. Well, yeah, scalping women and children's going to be unfucking acceptable. I don't know. But not when you're goddamn the Urukai. That's what they are. You wonder why I call them goblins and orcs, motherfucker? Behold, Minas Tirith burns. I don't give a shit if any of you are offended. Do you understand me, you motherfucker pieces of shit? You people have fucking destroyed anything, pride my people have in their country. And you're trying to piss in my face about it and tell me I'm a liar when I clearly remember having George Washington's day. And you think whatever you want, but Lincoln's better than this shit. I'd rather have Lincoln's birthday than Martin Luther fucking King. Yeah, my people fought against the tyrant, but still, wouldn't you? At least he's a white man. At least he's a fucking white man and not a nigger. There it sits. There it sits. Yeah, I'm better than you, nigger. And I always will be. Retarded, crippled, and everything. I'm still better than you, nigger. It's funny because actually I have an IQ that's almost double the top end of your standard IQ range, meaning the smartest ones of you are children compared to me, and my children who are smarter than me, they're fucking exceptional in every way compared to most white people, meaning they tower over you like gods, like Aryan gods. My son could crush your head like the mountain, and my daughter easily bends your will. She has the snake eyes like I have, Yeah, and actually I think she might even have a harder, more concentrated will than I have, if you believe that. It's quite a feat, I'm proud of them. They're hard and fierce. They require nothing else from me. But genetics is quite enough, kid. Yeah. It's funny, niggers try to play these games. It's like, and yet who doesn't know their fathers at all? I have a feeling the daughter has some idea who her dad is. It's gonna be something about the picture her mom has of somebody who looks exactly like her with the same square face. You reckon that she put that together? Hey, maybe mom lied to me. I'm thinking so. She'll want to come when she comes, don't worry. She is, it'll be less than pleasant. Dragons are dragons, boy. So you see, Kunta Kinte, you can't fuck with my ass. I'm going to teach you guys a little history lesson, Dave. But first, look at this all down straight. A riot is a form of civil disorder. It's a fucking lawless act, characterized by a group of people lashing out, breaking the law, in a violent public disturbance against authority, breaking the law, property or people. They're breaking the fucking law. Riots typically involve theft, vandalism, and destruction of property. They are breaking the law. Shoot their nigger ass. Use live ammunition and disperse them. Lock bayonets and go into their fucking ranks. Goddamn, push them back. Get them off the street. Fire hoses, batons, and flamethrowers if you need to. Hans, bring it up. Cook their ass alive, you stupid son of a bitch. I'm going to tell you about a little famous riot. Oh, I know my history, you see. I'm not just a dumb freak. No. Most of this is what's known as street quiet lights. The use of anger as frightfulness. Let's get what I want, you see. Street fight is important. Understand this. It's part of pushing war and winning. Make people think, I want to surrender because this guy's so terrible, I want to fight him. See, small to magnificent. Just imagine a smog landed in Lake Town and said, give me half your shit. I think they'd pile it right up, don't you? They wouldn't shoot at him on the way in. Would you? You're just going to make him angry. That's the whole thing about street crack life, my friend. That's the whole thing about it. So we're going to talk about the Hippodrome and the Hagia Sophia bit here. This is in Byzantium. This is January 13th, 532. This is the populace, they attempted to assault the imperial person at the Hippodrome, you see. The Hippodrome was next to the palace complex, kind of attached, And from the start, the crowd had been hurling insults at Justinian, which is one thing. That's one thing, you know what I mean? But by the end of the race, by the end of the day, at race 22, there was a long streak of races every time there. There's something like 30 races, I think it is. Partisan chants were from blue or green to united Nika, meaning win, victory, or conquer. That's what's called the Nika secession, the Nika revolt, yes. The crowds broke out and began to assault the palace. In other words, they tried to assault the imperial person. Get that straight in your head. The fires that started during the tumult resulted in destruction of much of the city, including the city's foremost church, the Hagia Sophia. Yes, these fucking heretics scum destroyed this. Some of the sinners saw this as an opportunity to overthrow Justinian, as they were opposed to his new taxes and his lack of opportunity for the support for the nobility. Wow. Slit their throats. The rioters, now armed and possibly controlled by their allies in the Senate, also demanded that Justinian dismiss the prefect John the Cappadocian and the quaestor Trebonian. Okay? They then declared a new emperor, Hypatius, who was the nephew of the former emperor Anastasius I, who was a good emperor, I might note. Anastasius was a good emperor. He's the first emperor after formal dissolution of the Western Empire. After Odoacer set aside. Come on now. Do you know who it was? Romulus Augustulus, little man. Romulus Augustulus. I know my shit, you see. So most sinners, again, as I say, Justinian in despair considered fleeing, but his wife, Theodora is a commendable woman, by the way. She's right there with Eleanor of Aquitaine, my friend. I don't hate the for that Queen Maud, I'd kill you right now for what she was solid. She was good plenty of times as they ever came, boy. It's Queen Matilda. Empress Matilda. Wife of the German Emperor. Queen of England, you know. Well, Regent. Queen, you know. Regina. Mother Queen, you know. Never mind. Those who have worn the crown should never survive its loss. Never will I see the day when I am not saluted as Empress. She is also credited with adding, who is born in the light of day must sooner or later die, and how can an emperor ever allow himself to be a fugitive? Though actually one of the things she said is this. Quote an ancient saying, royalty is a fine burial shroud, or perhaps purple makes a fine winding sheet. Those the imperial purple, you know. So unless she'd rather be buried in the purple than live in anything else. Smart girl. As Justinian rallied himself, that's found out as his wife kicked him in the nuts and made him get his shit together. He created a plan that involved Narses, a popular eunuch, as well as the generals Belisarius and Mundus. Carrying a bag of gold given to him by Justinian, the slightly built eunuch entered the hippodrome alone and unarmed against a murderous mob that had already killed thousands. Narses went directly to the blue section where he approached the important blues and reminded them that the Emperor Justinian supported them over the greens. He also reminded them that Hypatius, the man they crowned, was a green. Uh-oh. And then he distributed the gold. Whoops. The blue leaders spoke quietly with each other, and they spoke to their followers. Then in the middle of Hypatius' coronation, the blues stormed out of the hippodrome. The greens sat stunned. Then imperial troops led by Laurus and Mundus stormed into the hippodrome, killing any remaining rebels indiscriminately, be they blues or greens. About 30,000 riders were reportedly killed. Good for you. Good for you. Justinian also had Hypatius executed and exiled the senators who had supported the riot. He rebuilt Constantinople and the Hagia Sophia and was free to establish his rule. Is there a lesson here? Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, Minneapolis police precinct ablaze as protesters over George Floyd's death go fucking Planet of the Ape like a bunch of crazy niggers. You ever see it? I'm gonna call it exactly what the fuck it is, boy. Protesters set fire at the 3rd precinct of the Minneapolis Police Department Thursday, May 28th, 2020, in Minneapolis. Let's see here. Follow me, no, hold on a second now. Following days of fervor over a video showing a police officer holding his knee on the neck of a black man who died. Nigga unhealthy, so the white man be jammed. I don't give a shit. It's like this. I get tackled all the same with the knee on the neck, all the same, nigger. Fuck you, you whining piece of shit. You're guilty of some crime didn't do. You're lying. Fuck off. Is that there's some private matter between you and the cop that you're both hiding? But violent protests erupted for a 3rd night. Why do we put up with this shit? Why do we pay these niggers to do this? We give them the damn welfare money that enables them to fucking riot. Hello? Hello? What's up, Tom? Weren't you coming over here? I thought you were coming over here. Okay, bud. Alright. Alright, see what you do. Come back. Alright. Okay, guys. Well, I'll just restart this and we'll edit it in. Takes no credit, boy. It ain't hard. Well, folks, how y'all doing today? Oh, well, it's another one of those days, you know. To put it simple with you, folks, we have, like I say, like I've said since day one, this is a spiritual war, partially, but they're also coming for an end game here. I mean, they mean to make us low. Do you understand? Low. In fact, they've gotten to the point where you can get an abortion but not go to church in certain places. Yes, yeah, right? Even though elective medical care for all sorts of conditions is out the window, you can still get an abortion. So let's just keep that right. You can still murder your kids as a right, but you can't actually go to a church and congregate freely without a clicker counter at the door. Yes. So with that, we're going to read the creed of the Christian faith. Yes, we're going to start with, we believe in one God, the Father, the Almighty, maker of heaven and earth, all that is, seen and unseen. We believe in one Lord, Jesus Christ, the only Son of God, eternally begotten of the Father, God from God, light from light, true God from true God, begotten, not made, of one being with the Father, through him all things were made. For us and for our salvation he came down from heaven. By the power of the Holy Spirit he became incarnate from the Holy Virgin and was made man. And for our sake he was crucified under Pontius Pilate and suffered death and was buried. On the third day he rose again in accordance with the Scriptures. He ascended into heaven and is seated at the right hand of the Father. He will come again in glory to judge the living and the dead, and his kingdom will have no end. We believe in the Holy Spirit, the Lord and giver of life, who proceeds from the Father and the Son. With the Father and Son he is worshipped and glorified. He has spoken through the prophets. We believe in one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church. We acknowledge one baptism for the forgiveness of sins, and we look to the resurrection of the dead and the life of the world to come. Amen. And with that, we're just going to read a few little bits from the Bible, because, at this point in time, you really can't have too little here now. So this is part of Psalm 23. He restores my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. This is the Lord does this. And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. I believe it goes from, I don't have the rest of it down, but I think it goes. See, thou preparest a table for me in the presence of mine enemies. Surely my cup runneth over, my head is anointed with oil, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. This is the basics of it. It means that if you're with God and you stay and hang, you'll do well. Keep the course. Keep the faith. Hold fast, my man. And with that, we'll read a bit more of this, of course, because, Revelations 19. This is always a good one to have in your little mindsies. And I saw heaven open, and behold, the white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty God. And he hath on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, that's the carrion birds, come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great God, that ye may eat the flesh of kings and the flesh of captains and the flesh of all. This is the army of the beast being destroyed, you see. And Jude, but ye beloved, building up yourselves on your most holy faith, praying in the Holy Ghost, keeping yourselves in the love of God, looking for the mercy of our Lord Jesus Christ unto eternal life. Basically, guys, what they're saying here is, these evil people's machinations, don't let them bring you down to their... And if you do, bring the light of God down with you. Always do that. Now, No. We're going to have a little... Because the Lord hath spoiled Babylon, and I'm pretty sure that New York counts as Babylon these days, and destroyed her out of the great voice, that her waves do roar like great waters, a noise of their voice is uttered, because the spoiler is come upon her, even upon Babylon, and her mighty men are taken. Every one of their bows is broken. For the Lord God of recompenses shall surely requite. And I will make drunk her princes and her wise men, her captains and her rulers, her mighty men. And they shall sleep a perpetual sleep, like this ignorance from the TV gives you. And not wake, saith the King, whose name is the Lord of hosts. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the broad walls of Babylon shall be utterly broken, and her high gates shall be burned with fire. And the people shall labor in vain, and the folk in the fire, and they shall be weary. The word which Jeremiah the prophet commanded when he went to Zebediah the king of Judah in Babylon in the 4th year of his reign. And let's see. So Jeremiah wrote in a book all the evil that should come upon Babylon, even all these words that are written against Babylon. And Jeremiah said to this person, when thou comest to Babylon, and shalt see, and shalt read all these words, then thou shalt say, O Lord, thou hast spoken against this place, to cut it off, that none shall remain of it, neither man nor beast, but that it shall be desolate forever. And it shall be, when thou hast made an end of the reading of this book, that thou shalt bind a stone to it, and cast it in the midst of the Euphrates, or the East River. And thou shalt say, thus shall Babylon sink, and shall not rise from the evil that I will bring upon her, and they shall be weary. Thus far are the words of Jeremiah. Well, I think we're going to talk a little more. We're going to do a little... Why not? We'll do Nahum today, because, Nahum 3 is good stuff. Again, it's, woe to the bloody city. It is full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not. The noise of a whip and the noise of the rattling of wheels and the prancing of horses and the jumping of chariots. That's of violence and war. Let's see. Because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts, that selleth nations through her whoredoms, and families through her witchcrafts, behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. And I will cast abominable filth upon thee, and make thee vile, and will set thee out as a gazing stock. And it will come upon thee that all shall look upon thee, shall flee from thee. Dumb. Terrible, isn't it? It's almost like God doesn't favor this kind of thing. I don't know, you know what I mean? I just don't know. It's almost like it doesn't, you know? Right? It could be like that, you know? So, and then we're going to finish off with the little revelations, because, you know, this is the way we like to roll here. Then we could also do John, though I don't believe I have the text right here in front of me, you know? I can break it right out. I know right where it is. I promise you. You know, we got John. We got John. John's important. Again, if you read any of the Gospels, John would be the one I would advise. Luke's good too, but John is more compact and has more, again, readily accessible spiritual truths, I think, to most people. But this is just my opinion of the matter. You know. Now, at any rate, we're going to read this. I'm the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him this the thirst of the fountain of the water of life freely. He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son. This is easy stuff. And why shall you overcome? Because of the power of the light, bro, and the truth, the armor of God, my son. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and the same was in the beginning with God. And all things were made by him, and without him was not made anything that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehendeth it not. You see? You see, they don't even quite understand what's going on among us, because they have to think of what we do from their vicious, backwards, vile way of viewing the universe, you see, that takes anything that we do and makes it into some weird... Have you all noticed that they've openly come to their New World religion, like, we have to destroy everything because year zero? And it's funny because for years at Twitter, Facebook, you know, Reddit, Google, OnePlus, when it was around, all this, people laugh at me when I talk about year zero, that these communists and these PC, that they're building up to a year zero, right? And everybody'd say, oh, you're cracked, you're silly, you're this, and here we are. And here we are. Well, they want to destroy everything that come before, and they want to rename everything after Kunta Kinte slaves and shit. Nothing named after any white men at all, except for abolitionist, two-faced traitor scumbags that hated their own race. Well, hell with that now. To the point where literally, they have a fucking People's Republic over here in Seattle that I want to note, in 4 days has went from prosperous to starving to collapse to warlord. They're now at Comrade Stalin in all of 4 days. All the 4 days it took him to collapse from a glorious democracy into Comrade Stalin. Oh, Raz Simone, baby. And his entourage is running shit over there now. Raz is the Duke of Chaz, baby. Who be the Duke of Chaz? Raz, A number one. Raz, A number one, baby. Think I'm kidding you. A fucking gangster rapper warlord took over Anarchistville in less than 3 days. Just take note, libertarians, because that's exactly how the fuck your stupid Rothbardian bullshit would play out too. Right there. Well, because that's part of it, is that fag tag nonsense. You know, let's be honest. So, let's just remember that when they talk about defending and this and that, in these articles, because this is going to be almost entirely NPR, people always can ask me why that is, because NPR has the tightest neuro-linguistic programming. In other words, the least amount of sentences that do the most amount of brainwashing comes out of NPR, and the most amount of the threads of the total brainwashing is at NPR, though other news sites like expand the threads out and build them, NPR is like the root fiber, you know? Does that make sense? And it is largely that way, you know? And then when the propagandists at the central propaganda have to admit they're wrong, NPR will be the one to make the first admission, and then the others will, like, linguistically hide behind that and follow that party line, you know what I mean? Almost to the words. It's frightening, but it's that way. So today we're going to start out with the president has to defend his choices, because He ain't free white and 21, I guess. Oh, that's racist to say, too. Well, fuck you, niggers. Oh, did I say today how I feel about diversity? Diversity is a shit pile that I have to go out and piss on every morning. What it is a stink that needs to be gotten rid of. That's all diversity is, a stink that needs to be gotten rid of. Free white 21. That's what the founders wanted, not some bullshit nigger nog nation full of nigs, spicks, and gooks. That's right. If that offends you, GOP, get the fuck out. You think it offends God? God favors white people over those fucking colored folks. Curse a ham, motherfucker. Curse a ham. The White House and Trump campaign are defending a decision to hold a rally next week in a city that was home to one of the most brutal episodes of racial violence in the country's history on June 10th, a day considered to be Independence Day for black Americans. Fuck you, nigger. It's amazing. So now they have their own Independence Day? See this shit. The rally scheduled for June 19th in Tulsa, Oklahoma, marks President Trump's official return to the campaign trail after the coronavirus, the commie virus. Because, remember, only us nationalists spread coronavirus. Everyone else can't spread it, even though more blacks die from it, supposedly. So if blacks die from it, can't they spread it? Or do whites, or neo-Nazis give it to them by talking. Okay, it makes sense now. Perfect. Got it. So, shifted campaigning to the virtual realm. The president is also facing criticism over possible exposure of attendees to the coronavirus. Get the fuck out of here. We're not punking down to your fucking fake-ass virus anymore. God damn, The rally's venue, BOK Center, can hold about 19,000 people. A disclaimer at the bottom of the rally's registration page reads, by attending the rally, you and any guests voluntarily assume all risks related to exposure to COVID-19 and agree not to hold Donald J. Trump for president liable for any illness or injury. Seems cool to me. That's absolutely how you do this. And the person signs it and they say, oh, that's a contract and it's valid. Seems easy, doesn't it? A disclaimer appears for those requesting tickets to Trump's June 19th campaign rally, telling attendees they voluntarily assume all risks related to exposure to COVID. Cool. Totally. That's exactly how you do this in a free society. You tell people the risks and then you let them assess them and take them or not. How complex is that? Imagine NPR is actually upset that free choices are being made that they wouldn't want to be made. So we understand this brutal in Oklahoma there were some blacks that moved there and the whites didn't want there and they burnt them out and made those niggers go away. I approve of this race riot. This is exactly what we need more of. Blacks made to go the fuck away. There it is, that easy. I'm saying it point blank. Yeah. This is exactly what America needs. Less blacks and more white. Less blacks and more white. If we got rid of the blacks, we'd have 53% all violent crime and 85% of all rapes to go away. Damn. And we'd save about $1 trillion every decade on fucking expenses. Well, asked what precautions would be taken at Trump rallies as they restart, White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany said Wednesday, we will ensure that everyone who goes is safe. I think she's just going to wave a magic wand, the same as the leftists do, and they say, you COVID, you protesters against social justice, you can't get sick. Well, you're with Trump, you can't get sick. It seems like Kayleigh learned the same magic that they have over at the CDC. She took the sorcerer's wand from them. Hey, it's my sacred lock norm. The decision by the Trump campaign to hold a rally in Tulsa, where white mobs massacred black citizens in 1921. Oh God, let's just hope that more people get that idea in their mind. Has been widely condemned by communists wearing around the Democrat skin, including Representative Val Demings of Florida and Senator Kamala Harris, the House nigger from California. The arena is blocks away from the site of the massacre. Oh, good. Hopefully. Are there any blacks? Do blacks still not live there? The more white the area, the better it is. The more white the area, the better. I am not the pussy GOP. I don't cook like a faggot like they do. I've been in prison with niggers, and I know they have zero value. Zero value. And I'm not going to lie about it. Demings and Harris are among those speculated to be on presumptive Democratic nominee Joe Biden's short list. So these useless fucking lumps of flesh are going to be our president when Joe dies when they jimmy the vote through the mail-in? Jesus. Juneteenth. June 10th is a holiday that celebrates the anniversary of when news of emancipation reached enslaved people in Texas. What? So June 19th, 1865 is a holiday that celebrates the anniversary of when news of emancipation reached enslaved people in Texas. What kind of fucking nonsense is this? Is it an actual holiday? I highly doubt that. You're doing a roundtable Thursday with community leaders, and it is the whore that came in out of Oz's birthday, though. Yeah, the one that tried brain rapping me and thinking she was going to cure me, i.e. make me a weak-dicked faggot liberal like these people here. During a roundtable Thursday with community leaders on reopening the economy, Biden acknowledged the president's upcoming rally and appeared to conflate the date and history of Juneteenth with the date of the Tulsa attack, saying he's going down to Texas on Juneteenth, right? The first major massacre, literally speaking, of Black Wall Street, right? Years ago. It don't matter. Close enough, Joe. Close enough. The ADIQs will hold you, Joe. When asked by reporters Thursday whether it was appropriate for Trump to hold his rally on Juneteenth, McNanny defended his decision, calling it a meaningful day for Trump. Oh, shit. The African community is very near and dear to his heart. They are. He holds them. He says, come here, Negro. You need a little baba. These rallies, he often shares the great work he has done for minority communities, brings them right out there like a token, says, look, token. It's great when he does. I think it's freaking hilarious. Okay? Hilarious. McKinnon then said that Trump is working on rectifying injustices that go back to the very beginning of the country's history. Bitch. Shut your mouth with that rectifying shit. What we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the niggers. That's how we're going to rectify the injustice. We're going to say, nigger, get on a boat. Here's the Congo. Here's some money. You're now richer than the other niggers in the Congo. Now take over and get out of our hair. Good boy. That's how it's going to end, yeah. Trump campaign manager Brad Parscale echoed that sentiment, tweeting that Republicans are proud of what Juneteenth represents. Republicans are dick-sucking faggot prison punks. They're nigger-loving fucking scum who have no fucking balls and will lose this fight to the communists because they won't participate in the game. They believe in their little, we's all individuals. You're a bunch of bitches. Fight as white people or go down as slaves. You fucking weak bitches. I'll just here too. Now, meanwhile, well into the 21st century, black people in the United States are still sicker and die younger than their white counterparts. This is not new. Such racial gaps were noted in the tabulation of vital statistics in colonial America. That's a lie. Since, get this, indentured servants, 50% didn't live 7 years. You know how many blacks lived that long? 75% of them. Meaning, during the laboring years of their life, whites lived less long. Wow. Also, why do blacks die younger? Because they're genetically inferior to us, and they burn out sooner, since their programming is designed to breed faster. That's right. That's why they mature a couple years faster and so forth. Ding, 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 ding. But now, a recent review of Black Health Disadvantage. Ooh, the Marxism's creeping up in here. Found that relative racial disparities begin at birth and continue up to age 65. It's because it's fucking genetics. Starts when genetics kick in and ends when genetics stop. It's genetic. I shared this experience of lives cut short are African American Indians and Alaska Natives who are, again, genetically inferior to us and breed faster because of their low-ass technological levels. Even in the Stone Age, we were more technologically advanced than these fucking savages. That's reality. Who experienced the highest rate of premature mortality among U.S. ethnic groups? What do you mean premature? You go see God when God wants you. There's no premature death. That's faggot talk in and of itself. It assumes that they know the exact number of minutes you have in your little life seat. It's a lie. Overall, mortality has decreased across all groups. That's too bad. I wish there was more deaths. These stubborn relative racial gaps persist. Nature just won't give up. Genetics just won't give up. Can you imagine this, guys? The racial group is not normal. It should not exist. As a group, all human beings are equal. That's exactly where the fuck you're wrong, kiddo. That's exactly where every other error in your logic and your reason comes from. Right there. Humans are not equal. There are subspecies of humans that do not have the exact operative conditions or outcomes. No, we should get sick and die equally. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? What kind of gayness is that, you know? What they mean to say is there should be more whites dying and less coloreds. That's what they're trying to say. The differential patterning of premature mortality by race is not a reflection of biological differences. No, can't be that. Or some inherent predilection for ill health by people of African American descent or the indigenous. No. It has nothing to do with the fact that the one has sickle cell anemia and these other diabetes. The rest, no. It's not a predetermined disposition, no. Stated plainly, the past and present racial patterning of disease reflects institutional racism. Because God's racist, he hates your nigger ass too. You know. He put pubic hair on your fucking low IQ head, nigger. Yeah. When we no longer observe these racial variances in disease occurrence and outcome, our society will have at last vanquished this racism. You mean when we have a genetically homogenous society, there'll be no more? Yeah, that's correct. The only way to get rid of racism is get rid of race, since race is real and racism is insane. In other words, the idea that it's bad to favor your own kind? What fucking utter insanity. No animal in nature believes this fucktardery. The effort begins with recognition that racist ideas shaped public health practice. The phrase institutional racism refers to both ways both state and non-state institutions discriminate through policies and practices on the bias of racialized group membership. What the fuck? They're trying to say that because you be such, your outcomes are racist because you white boy. Are you white? Then you racist. Are you white? Then you're racist and a Nazi. If you deny, then you're KKK and a murderer too. That be you, colored boy. Ooh. I mean, it's like just ridiculous. It's like silly. It's like, and if you're colored and you don't fight with this shit, you may as well just kill yourself, you know. There are two main racist ideas and the dominant explanations of black-white disparities in health. Arguments extended to all non-whites. The first argument is the biological inferiority of non-whites. I rest my case. The second, presented more dominant, holds that defects among blacks lie not in genetic makeup, but in behavior. You mean when groups behave differently, eat differently, act differently, different outcomes would happen? Why, shit. What? No. The genetic hypothesis dominated early U.S. medical and public health thinking. Much medical literature explored the inherent inferiority of enslaved Africans. Debate centered whether blacks were even members of the same species. We're subspecies to each other, relative, yes. That's correct. Other examples on now appear equally ridiculous. Take drapetomania. Yeah, drapetomania, the insane desire to run away so you can starve to death by somebody not feeding you. Same as they'd starve to death if welfare didn't feed them now. Let's see. The recommended prevention is so hard to guess. Whipping. Beat that son of a bitch. Whip the dog snot out of them. That's exactly how you cure any problem with niggers thinking. Just beat them. James, hit them again. Say fucking Toby. At the end of the 19th century, statistician Frederick Hoffman used actual data to argue that the high mortality rate of freed blacks reflected the intrinsic lack of fitness of the black population. Yeah, that's exactly it. They breed faster and die off faster. They crumble faster. We last longer in our old age. Yeah. Right. Let's see. Various genetic markers or different genomes are announced regularly to explain racial variation. The behavioral hypothesis invokes racial variation to explain the many risk factors for common diseases, obesity, lack of exercise, unsafe sex. You mean all these things that ghetto niggers do and that we're supposed to feel responsible for? How about fuck you, yeah? Let's see, that would be modified by personal action. As a result, although blacks are born equal, these preventable risk factors accumulate because of lack of knowledge and flawed decision making. That's exactly right, yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yes, life is tough, but you don't have to overeat, get too little exercise, engage in violence, ignore medical advice, and so on. That's exactly correct. So, without reference to the context of their lives, it tries to assign blame. So it just says, society's to blame, not me. Little Tyrone didn't murder no one, you did. Why? Because you're white. Yeah. So guys, it ignores the toll of daily and lifelong experience of discrimination. You mean like white boys who are told that they're evil, vile, disgusting, and so bad that most of these white kids want to become little girls? No, not like that. You mean like when they niggers make up microaggression bullshit? And, yeah, nigger. They say nigger all day long in prison. I'm not going to cuck to it. Fuck you. Like the genetic hypothesis, it is a racist idea. All ideas are racist, nigger, unless you just give the niggers what they want. Here, nigger, you want some cyanide candy? I'd give you all fuck. I wouldn't even give a fuck. You niggers ain't worth 10 cents. So, you know, open letter advocating for an anti-racist public health response to demonstrations against systemic injustice occurring during the COVID-19 pandemic. On April 30th, heavily armed and predominantly white protesters entered the state capitol building in Lansing. Goddamn white people. Michigan protesting stay-at-home orders and calls for widespread public masking to prevent the spread of COVID-19, which we all know is a bullshit thing now. Yeah, we know it's bullshit. You're not going to keep lying to us. COVID-19 is bullshit. Infectious disease physicians and public health officials publicly condemn these actions. Who gives a fuck? They're not our overlords, you motherfucker. And privately mourned the widening rift between leaders in science and a subset of the communities that they serve. You're not our leaders. And we are our own fucking head. You're nothing to us. Get the fuck out, you know. Notice this, how the leaders in science that they serve us by locking us down and making us weak serfs who suck nigger dick. Fuck you. As of May 30th, we are witnessing continual demonstrations in response to ongoing, pervasive, and lethal institutional racism set off by the killing of George Floyd, who did have private business with that other dude at the strip joint. Ooh, so your dope dealing thug pig nigger pimp is a piece of shit. And this Breonna Taylor, probably a piece of shit too. Among many other black lives taken by police, none of them worth a squirt of piss. A public health response to these demonstrations is also warranted, but this message must be wholly different from the response to white protesters resisting stay-at-home orders. Oh, you see what they just said is, you being out spreads disease, them being out doesn't. See, infectious disease and public health narratives adjacent to demonstrations against racism must be conscientiously anti-racist, and infectious disease experts must be clear and consistent in prioritizing an anti-racist message over public health. White supremacy is a lethal public health issue that predates and contributes to COVID-19. How about fuck off? Black people are twice as likely to be killed by police compared to white people. That's actually a lie. That's an absolute lie. There are 5 times as many whites killed every year, and even per capita, it's 4 to 3. You see what I mean? In favor of white people. What more? It's a lie. This is a lie. But the effects of racism are far more pervasive. Fuck off, nigger. Black people suffer from dramatic health disparities in life expectancy, material and infant mortality, chronic medical conditions, and overcome outcomes from chronic illnesses like myocardial infection and sepsis. It's because they're unhealthy, fat fucking slobs. It's that easy, and they're stupid, low IQ baboons who are vicious and violent, even to and among their own young. How do you like that? Biological determinants are insufficient to explain these disparities. Well, biology and behavior together do. That's nature and nurture. The results from long-standing systems of oppression and bias which have subjugated people of color to discrimination in the healthcare setting, decreased access to medical care and healthy food. It can't be anything to do with the violence in our own neighborhood, you know, because again, who'd want to run a medical clinic down in those fucking war zones with those ghetto niggers? Unsafe working conditions. We know how many of you are on welfare and how many of you exist. Therefore, shut the fuck up, nigger. Mass incarceration, you're violent apes. You're lucky you're not all dead. If I was running the prisons, I'd just execute your nigger asses. Exposure to pollution and noise. You make the noise and create the pollution, so fuck off. And the toxic effects of stress, which again are all based around your own bullshit behaviors and actions and the way you are genetically wired to be, nigger. Has nothing to do with whites. So fuck off. Black people are also more likely to develop COVID-19. How do we even know this is true? Because they're not even doing the actual tests for the virus itself. So it's like they're doing symptomatic screening. This isn't not, oh my God, you know. Black people with COVID are diagnosed later in the disease course and have a higher rate of hospitalization, mechanical ventilation, and death. Well, then COVID has done something for us, at least. Praise be to God that there's less niggers. I want to be free of the curse of Ham. I don't mean to compromise with you niggers. COVID among black patients is yet another lethal manifestation of white supremacy. So a disease made by chinks in a laboratory is white supremacy. Just figure that shit out. In addressing demonstrations against white supremacy, our first statement must be one of unwavering support for those who would dismantle, uproot, or reform racist institutions, meaning the present states and the current Constitution. Staying at home, social distancing, and public masking are effective at minimizing the spread of COVID-19. Oh, they are? Actually, there's no evidence that's true. Sweden has the same basic numbers we have still. There's never been this big death spike everyone's talking about. All a bunch of fucking lies. To the extent possible, we support the application of these public health best practices during demonstrations that call attention to the pervasive lethal force of white supremacy. However, as public health advocates, we do not condemn these gatherings as risky for COVID transmission. We support the riots as vital to the national public health and to the threatened health specifically of black people in the United States. So they support riots that cause black people to die as helping black people's health. Do you understand the insanity of that guy? We can show that support by facilitating safest practice without detracting from demonstrators' ability to gather and demand change. This should not be confused with a permissive stance on all gatherings. Oh no, white boy. Oh no, white boy. Particularly protests against stay-at-home orders. Those actions are not only opposed public health interventions, but are also rooted in white nationalism. So all opposition to this bullshit COVID is white nationalism. And run contrary to respect for black lives. Well, fuck black lives, because black lives ain't worth that much spit. That's how much black lives are worth. Right there, bitch. That's exactly how much their nigger lives are worth. So, now watch this. Black communities and also perpetrates black violence. So, hold on a second. Protests against systemic racism, on the other hand, which fosters the disproportionate burden of COVID on black communities and also perpetuates police violence, must be supported. Racism is a public health emergency. Can you imagine this? We as a country are facing a double crisis. We are fighting to slow the spread of the coronavirus. Why? It's the common cold, you bitch-made faggots. We ain't falling for it no more. And to get nurses and other public care workers that we need to safely care for our patients. We're also facing the crisis of systemic racism. Yes, manifest in the killing of the holy Saint George Floyd. May his nigger pimp ass live forever in heaven, killing hoes and pimping out the fucking angels. And many other black and brown people at the hands of police. Racism is a public health emergency. No, it's not. No, nigger lives don't matter. But it can't be solved by developing a vaccine, institution-wide suspension, or social distancing. This is why, as nurses, as professional association, and as a labor union, these cocks are supporting the efforts led by black organizations to protest systemic racism and bring justice for the nigger pimp. Let's see, who died at the hands of a cop that he knew personally and had business with. These crises are intertwined. The hand of racism rests heavily on the healthcare system and public health. Yeah, without the white race you'd have no health care at all. There's a fact. No, so, oh yes, I'm totally, I can't do it. I just can't read through more of this, So, protesting racism versus risking COVID-19. I wouldn't weigh these crises separately. Protests over police treatment of black people have sparked concerns about the spread of COVID-19. Here a protester marches Monday in Philadelphia with a cloth mask saying, "I can't breathe." Well, fat fuck, here's a trick. Get that shit off your face, eat less, and exercise more, and you'll breathe better, nigger. Mass protests that have erupted over police brutality toward black people in America are raising concerns about the risk of spreading the coronavirus. But some health experts, even as they urge caution, said they support the demonstrations because racism also poses a dire health threat. You're hearing this insanity. Tens of thousands of people, mass and mass, have thronged the streets of Minneapolis, Atlanta, Louisville, and other cities this week. Risk of transmission is low in open space, but wherever there is a gathering, there is a risk of transmitting the virus. Well, except for amongst these people, because only racists transmit the virus. Health experts urge protesters not to sing or shout to reduce the threat of person-to-person transmission. Yeah, sure. And they caution that police tactics such as tear gas and pepper spray could exacerbate the situation by prompting people to cough and gasp for air. nuke those motherfuckers from orbit and drive them into submission. No. I mean, can you imagine this, people? This is crazy people talk. Do you understand? I mean, I'll have pages and pages more of this, but I can't do it today. I just can't, I might get done with this later tonight and finish up and sort of make a double up one, but I can't do it, guys, because let's be honest. You will know, I'm not the guy to be giving a hell about this nonsense. I mean, Twitter's, again, censoring the president. Everything's free speech except for us. We're just all supposed to take it up the backside. Well, I just can't. I don't say it ain't my bag to be just like, hey, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I just want to lose because weird reasons, you know what I mean? Just weird reasons, right? That's what it comes down to is weird reasons, because it's all like, why would I fold up and be happy about folding up so that you people can push your bullshit and act like you're pure? No way, No way. I mean, let's be honest about that. Now, that's just the truth, isn't it, though? So, I'll tell you what I'm going to do today. I'm going to finish up today with a little talksy on the bottom's coming and the firm footing of family and folk we're going to be resting upon soon. Because why? Hell, we have to try to end on a good note. So what we need here, folks, we need a proper border. We need a border that's secure, and we need a border wall. We need to deport them all. We need to deport every single fucking illegal and make America safe again by making America white again. We need to stop the invasion from the third world, which will make America great again. That's we'll actually put white America first. It's the only America that counts is white America. Yeah, you see, white rights, white culture, white history. These are absolutely important. And once we've got America situated and slap Canada back out of cuckitude, we can ensure that we can help defend Europe and defend Europa, as it were, European culture worldwide, yeah? And that will help us set up a white ethno-community with white ethno-states in the ethno-community. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Now, of course, we're going to have to lock her up, which means lock up every fucking criminal cocksucker that ever tried to screw us over. Yes, and then, of course, we won't keep them locked up. We'll hang them. Because, you see, nationalists don't play games with law and order. Nationalists are serious about law and order. And our white identity and our whiteness is under assault right now. So everyone who's assaulted that will be held to the maximum account once we're in charge of the law. And we'll write the law such that you will snap. That's it. Now, the white majority is going to hold its majority. We're going to have white nations. White folk will think of themselves as white folk. White people for white people, Home, hearth, heritage, community, common good. These are going to be the watchwords of our new ethos, our new way of viewing life. You see, we'll have, we will lead to white survival, you know what I mean, right? The family, fatherhood, motherhood, clean streets, good jobs, proper wages, honest pay for honest work. Oh my God, can you imagine? It's almost like the 1950s had come back, but with none of the fucking consumerist bullshit. Whoa. And that'll lead us to life, not death, and make men, not boys, and mothers, not MILFs, and we'll have children and not pets. Crazy, I know. And then all of this will be based on autarky. Autarky. You have the freedom to do whatever is good for you and doesn't hurt the people. So you don't get to undercut us for your nickels, little fucking shill. Don't like it? Get the fuck out and go to the chinks. No. Respect, honor, dignity, loyalty, duty, rightness. These are all going to be moral qualities we're going to teach. As moral qualities, there's no moral relativism bullshit about it. Courage. Courage is what is required, though, my sons. Of course, to get to this point, we have to get to a sort of a common good over selfish interest sort of mentality to sort of break the bonds of usury, institute public banks, fix our public credit. This is just, it's outlandish that we have these trust fund families that own trillions, and it's the exact number that we owe them. It's almost like, who are we in debt to again? Just dissolve them out and cancel it out. That will lead us to true freedom and real liberty. Yeah. So for those of you who say that my little tags that I used at the end don't mean nothing, sure they do. I just read right through them and gave you, a couple minute spiel easily out of them. With that, guys, have a nice day. And again, I might put this together with another one tonight and issue it later today. You have a nice day now.